Greetings, this is Blair Singer, and it's good to be talking to all of you again. So thank you for your commitment to your education. Thank you for your willingness to listen to some alternate points of view. You know, one of the biggest things about being able to adapt to change, and we always talk about change, and everybody wants to change, and everybody says they want to change, but when push comes to shove, a lot of times what happens, people say, well, I don't want to change that much. Or this is working for me now, and I don't want to change it now. If it's not broke, don't fix it. All those expressions. So you have to be very, very careful, because sometimes you have imprints in your mind that even though you say you want to change, subconsciously, you may end up sabotaging yourself. So again, as I give you some of my opinions, my answers based upon things that I've done, companies that I've worked with, don't close your mind off to it, because even if the concept isn't exactly suitable for you, what part of it can you use? I'm reminded of a story of Richard Branson. Richard Branson, as you know, the famous entrepreneur, founder of Virgin Airways, Virgin Records, and many other companies. And what he used to do is, as he traveled around the world, he'd keep little Post-it notes. And every time he'd go into a shop or a business and he saw something that he thought was really cool and unique, he'd write it down on the Post-it note. And he always claimed, he said, I'm not a very creative person. He says, I'm really not. He says, but I'm very, very good at observing what's going on. And so after our business trip around the world, he would come back to his office in London and lay all the Post-it notes out on the conference room table, bring his leaders in, explain them. And he said, okay, so how can we use some of this? Is there anything in here or a portion of it that we can use to improve our businesses? And he used a lot of that stuff. So look at it that way. Look at it as a smorgasbord of different ideas, and see what works for you. I will tell you, every single one of them will take additional learning and education. Okay. All right. So they've given me, Sarah and Ms. Hua have given me some questions, and I'm going to kind of read the question or paraphrase the question, give you my answers. Okay. And by the way, these are great questions. First question is this: my company has been selling technological devices for over 20 years. We sell our products at a fixed price according to standard pricing of the company. We make about a 5 to 10% profit, and currently there are lots of companies doing the same thing and creating lots of competition in the market. As a result, we've had to reduce our price to keep up with the market, which has made our profit fall to 1 to 2%, affecting our entire business. If this goes on for long, we might be at a loss due to our spending on paying employees, renting stores. How do we continue to sell our products without reducing the price? Okay, so there's 6 questions here, and there's 2 others that are very similar, and I'll address each of them, but let me kind of address it from the very beginning. When we're in an age of technological change, technology races as faster than anybody can see it. In a very famous book called The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth, who's a technologist here in America and a very successful entrepreneur, he talks about the fact that technology is growing faster than anybody can even imagine. You can't even see it. I mean, trucks will be driving themselves soon. Healthcare will be done by internet and phone. Businesses are created and lost overnight. Jobs are created and destroyed in a matter of weeks or months. It's a very unstable time. But at the end of the day, we all live a better life because the technology helps us do more with less. Okay, so let's just take a look at this particular situation. You've been selling these devices for over 20 years. The person also happens to be an owner of an electronics distribution business and also has a chain of electronic stores specializing in selling washing machines, air conditioners, televisions, refrigerators, big appliances, higher ticket items. Okay, so here's the overall piece. What I've noticed since COVID 2020, that it's much easier to sell higher ticket items than it is to sell low ticket items. I'll explain more of that later, but the idea is that with a low ticket item, you have no real opportunity to sell. Why? Because it's a commodity. And what happens is people are just shopping price. And when you have a lot of competitors, they have a lot to choose from. For a small ticket item, and I don't know what it is in Vietnam, but let's say something that's under $100 in the United States. People are not, it's not cost justifiable to sit down with every customer and try to sell them on the process. You have to be very, very clever or have the lowest price. And that's not always a good thing, because if you're trying to lower, as this person's doing, lowering your price, then everybody lowers their price and it becomes a race to the bottom, to the lowest possible price. The problem with that race is you might win it, or worse yet, come in second place. And that's not going to be good, because as you can see, it's eroded his or her profitability. And it's not a race that you want to get in if you're looking for sustainability. So what are your options? Well, I would say this. Like many organizations and many of these questions, I'm going to give you answers that you may not like hearing, but this is based upon observation. It's also based on my own personal experience. And that is this: sometimes if a product is no longer competitive or no longer viable for your profitability of your business, you got a couple options. The first one is stop selling the product. Now, this person's sells televisions, washing machines, appliances, right? So that may be a better business because it's a higher ticket item and it's worth your while to talk to somebody about the merits of your product. But when you're a commodity, people are just shopping the price. And it doesn't warrant a salesperson spending an hour trying to explain to somebody why to buy a $100 item. That salesperson is going to cost you more than the sale, as is mentioned here. So one of the things to do, as in COVID, is you may have to take a look at how you're going to pivot on that piece of the business. Are you going to continue to sell it? Is it worthwhile just to will you actually be profit ahead if you let go of it? Or would it be better to maybe buy a couple of your good competitors, purchase their companies, assuming that they have a really, really good product, grab some of that market share, and the cost of buying that business, coupled with the volume that you'll increase by selling to their customers, may offset the problem. So that's one thing. You could acquire some of your lower cost competitors so that you don't have to be paying the cost of manufacturing those items, okay? So the cost is deferred to somebody else, and you just simply become a joint venture partner and you're taking a percentage. That's it. So you have very, very little production costs on it. That's one opportunity. Another opportunity is to, again, find another distributor, somebody that's not distributing it, somebody else besides you that's distributing it. That way you don't have to service it quite as much. They buy a quantity, they sell it, and you provide sales support. Now, a couple things. Pivoting. Let's talk about pivoting for a second. Let me give you an example of a company you may know. IBM. You've heard of IBM, International Business Machines. Years ago, I went to a talk. Actually, there's IBM and Xerox, both Xerox. I went to a talk given by the chairman of the board of Xerox company, and he realized, and he at this talk he said there came a point where he realized that that the retail price of a Ricoh, that's a manufacturer, Ricoh copier, was less than Xerox's production cost of the same item. Let me say it again. He found out that Ricoh's selling price to the public, the retail price, was less than Xerox's production cost, what it cost to produce the similar product in their organization. At that point, what's he going to do? This is when the Japanese market invaded, Japanese technology invaded the US market. And they had to make some very difficult choices. One of which was whether they're going to continue to offer those machines. IBM faced the same problem with their lower end mini computers and office machines. So let me tell you what IBM did. IBM figured that where do they offer the greatest value to their customers? And the greatest value to their customer was not in the sale of product in that group of product. It was in advisory services. In other words, helping organizations set up their IT systems, advising their distributors on how to sell some of their products. So that became a new cost item, a new source of revenue for IBM that became very, very, very big. So in this case, for this person, is that if you're going to provide, maybe what you do is you offset the low-cost commodity item in the ways I said. And number two is focus more on your higher ticket items, but add some advisory service. In other words, teach those distributors how to sell. Teach them the merits. Give them some presentations. Put some PowerPoint slides together to train them with, so that when somebody comes onto the floor or somebody's looking to buy a quantity of products, they have a professional presentation to use, or their salespeople on the floor know what they're talking about. So again, that becomes an advisory service that you can actually charge for big accounts. Like I said, I think it's easier to sell higher ticket items than it is smaller ticket items. If I'm spending $250 US dollars or $300 on a washing machine, that's doesn't warrant a salesperson. But if I have high-end customers that are builders and developers that are building multifamily doing multifamily housing, then somebody that wants to buy 500 or 1,000 washing machines, that sale is a little more interesting to me. So who's your target market? Who's the market you're trying to sell to? Are those little technology pieces, standard pieces that you sell, is that really your market? One thing I had to take a look at when COVID-19 hit is once the world locked down, Robert Kiyosaki and I came together and we asked ourselves a very important question. We said, who is our customer now? Who is our customer now? And really, when you looked at it, the profile had changed overnight, People weren't traveling. People weren't going to seminars. People were holding on to their money. And so we had to shift very quickly, online, digital products, that kind of thing. So I would say this, and this is an overall piece, and I'm spending more time on this because it applies to the rest of these, a lot of these questions, is that Vietnam is going through a massive shift, as we all are. The Japanese, the Koreans, and others have brought technology into Vietnam, and Vietnam has a growing manufacturing sector. But very quickly, what we know in all developing countries, we go from manufacturing to service and becoming a service economy. So those of you that have larger organizations, what services could you pivot to that you could sell for a higher dollar amount, which the last question is going to pertain to this, a higher dollar amount, as well as warrant improving the selling skills of a very professional sales team that works with key accounts to handle that avatar, to handle that niche that you're looking at now. Okay, where's the money, who's buying, and which market do you want to be in? No longer, even as a manufacturer, you cannot be everything to everybody when competition comes in. You have to choose your customer. It may be painful to let go of certain things, but in letting go, other things are now available. Okay, if letting that go eliminates some costs and it frees up time, then in fact that you have more time to focus on a group of customers that maybe you haven't paid a lot of attention to, or maybe you could provide an additional service to that you weren't providing before. Okay, so hopefully that helps. That's quite a big answer for that question. All right, that's question one. Question two. I produce agricultural products and I own a farm that grows these products. My products are organic, but when I bring it to the market, I struggle to sell it. While others have been growing food products of less quality, but still able to sell them to supermarkets, how can I let the customer know how quality my product is and get them to buy and get the supermarkets to buy it? Okay, so, all right. So this is similar to, just because you think your product is more quality, or maybe it even is, doesn't mean that the public does. So two options. Obviously, your marketing has to get better. You have to talk about the quality of the product and train your supermarkets or train your customers, because in both cases, somebody else is selling the product for you, okay? So if somebody's selling the product for you, the only way they're going to upgrade is if you upgrade them. You got to teach them the value and the power of what you have to sell. In this case, organic, high quality food, right? So supermarkets. The supermarkets are tough customers. And the reason they're tough customers is they operate on a very, very, very low margin. Okay, they go for volume and not quality. So in selling to supermarkets, very difficult to entice them to spend more money unless you can convince them that the suggested retail price of your organic product is higher and should be higher than other produce. You know, here in America, organic vegetables and organic foods have their own section in a supermarket. And everybody knows when you go to that section, broccoli or bok choy that's grown organically is going to cost more than the traditional bok choy because it doesn't use fertilizer and it's grown healthily and it's, you know, the whole process, right? So so the first sale is selling the supermarket on possibly more profit. So in other words, you're going to sell to them for the same, but you're going to suggest that rather than selling the bok choy for $2 a bundle, it should be $3.50 a bundle. Now you're going to still charge them 50 cents the bundle, okay? And they can keep all the profit if they want to, or maybe you could share a little with them. But to convince them that this is a quality product at a quality price designed for quality people. And then you got to help them to set up their displays in their supermarket. So organic foods, okay? And who is your customer? Again, same thing. Is your customer the average person just trying to put food on the table that eats at McDonald's and eats lots of sugary foods and stuff like that? No. So where is your customer? Where are you going to find them? Health food stores? Yes. Specialty farmer market supermarkets? Yes. Specialty markets that specialize in organic foods? Yes. Restaurants? Yes. Healthy restaurants that are selling healthy food. So again, maybe your clientele needs to shift a little bit. If they want higher profit, because it says here, this person's the owner of a business that produces items such as clean vegetables, beans, peanuts, sesame, bamboo shoots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, sell to supermarkets in Vietnam. And there are many supermarkets for profit benefits. So they want to sell products with a higher profit than sell good products. Well, give them a product that sells, that is also a good product and also has high profit. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you're going to suggest to them that that their customers should be paying a little bit more for a higher end product. And again, as in the first case, if we're in a race of technology and a race where people can produce goods for less money, produce food for less money, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to help train and educate your salespeople. And in this case, your salespeople are the supermarkets. Okay, maybe do a little clinic, give them have a free tasting, talk to them about have their floor staff understand it a little bit better, but mostly to get your the owners on board with the quality of the product. In the meantime, obviously some social media or paid advertising on the quality of organic foods. Okay, I have a very similar question coming up next, so I'll address that. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. Number 3, this person owns a designing company, and usually after sending the design to our clients, they don't properly proceed the payments, but still use our designs for their projects. How can I avoid this from happening? Although they actually signed a contract, they used the reason that the design was not suitable and did not perform on the contract. This woman is the owner of a design company, has been operating for over 10 years. Okay. All right. So people always do this. They take my books and my things and they make copies and they sell them for very cheap, and I get no money out of it. And that's a sort of a sign of flattery, but the other part of it is it could be very discouraging if in this case you're putting a lot of work into creating a design for somebody for free, showing them the design, and then they bail out on you. So the first thing that comes to mind, I'm not sure if you can do this, but the first thing that comes to mind is break your process into several components. In other words, the first, maybe have stage one is a consultation. In other words, if they want to work with you, it's a consultation. Consultation's free. In other words, you'll come in, they'll talk to you, you'll actually design something. You won't give them the design, but you'll spend several hours and tell them that that normally costs $1,000, $2,000 just to do the consult. So that's step one of the design of the sale. Step two is then the basic concept. So maybe for another $2,000, $3,000, what we'll do is we'll give you, based on the design we're creating, we'll create a very, very general overview of it and review it with, and it's going to be a design review, $2,000. I'm making these numbers up, $2,000 to get agreement. But one of the keys here is don't give them everything. Don't give them everything. Tell them maybe what you're going to do, but not how you're going to do it. Okay. We do this a lot in the training business. And then once they make a full-on commitment and pay you, you then unleash the whole design. So there's kind of 3 steps to this funnel. So you could just make money doing consults without giving them any design. Okay. And then after that, the people that say, well, yeah, I want to sit down and review what you come up with. Okay, good. So that'll be another $2,000. And you sit down and you can talk to them, maybe hand draw some things to give a basic idea, but not getting into all the detail. Why? Because in those first 2 encounters, you're selling. Yes, you're educating them on what you can do, but you're selling. Here are the benefits of this, the benefits of that. Now, in all these cases, number 1, 2, and now 3, selling skills are critical. Selling skills are critical. I want you to remember 3 things. Whenever you're selling anything, you have to identify the customer's problem, come up with a good solution to that problem, and then give lots of benefits as to why that solution is going to work for them and what it's actually going to do for them. Let me do that last part again because everybody forgets it. What's the problem they've got or the challenge? What's the solution? Give them a solution, your solution. And number 3, what are the benefits? Now, the benefits are 2 parts. So I could say if I'm selling you an IT solution, which comes up later, and the IT solution is an XYZ operating system platform. That's it? No, that's not it. It's the XYZ platform, but the benefits of that platform are, number 1, it's very easy to maintain. Are we done? No, we're not done. It's very easy to maintain. And what that means for you is less downtime, less technical support, up and running, and your people with a very simple amount of training can actually edit, modify, and improve it as you go. Is that something you would like? So you see the difference? I could say, yeah, we have XYZ operating system. Nobody's going to buy that. I could say the problem you have is your technology is way behind, costing a lot of time and effort and turnover employees. That's the problem. You can fix this by our XYZ operating system. And the benefit of that is, like I said, the benefit of that is, I'm just making this up. The benefit of that is that it's very easy to use, very easy to implement, which means that you don't have to spend a lot of money on tech support. You can cut your tech support back quite a bit. If you run into a problem, your own people can edit it and make it work really, really simply. And we will continue to part of the contract is we'll continue to upgrade it for free, so you don't have to keep hiring new people to fix your IT system. So you see the difference? So the difference is just the solution. The second one was the problem and the solution. The third one was the problem, the solution, and the benefits. And the benefits on top of the benefits and what the benefits of the benefits are. That's selling. Okay, that's selling. And people say, I do that, I do that, I do that. And I'll tell you what, if you really take a look at whoever's out there selling, they're not doing that. Okay, they're not doing that. So in this case, with the 3 stages of design, each one becomes an opportunity to sell each time. You know, what is the problem? What is the solution to the problem? And then what are the benefits? And you charge for each one. Actually, the first one could be free. First one can be free. And that gives them an opportunity to get to know you, get to trust you, and get to like you. along the way, then you're making money. So even if they steal your design somewhere down the line, you still made money and you still put your best foot forward. Okay? Awesome. Okay. So this next person says, I sell vitamins and supplements and buy from another company products that are high quality but do not sell well, as many in the market are lower quality. Do you ever see a pattern here? Everybody says, I got high quality, everybody else low quality, and they're killing me on price. I think they're able to reach this amount of purchase through effective marketing through Facebook. What should I do to improve my sales and promotion strategies? Well, if you're, like I said, if you're going to compete in that market, and I'm going to make a suggestion here later in the next couple ones that you might not want to do that. But if you're going to, then yes, you're going to have to improve your marketing as well. You're going to have to improve your marketing. It says here that this person has a production company that produces brain supplements to avoid stroke, but sells very slowly. Some products in Vietnam, such as stomach pain, sinusitis, joint pain, are poor quality, but still sold. Okay, so what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that stroke prevention is not as in front of people's minds as much as stomach pain, sinus problems, joint pain. Why? Because everybody's got those three. Not everybody's got stroke issues, and not everybody even knows they got stroke issues. So again, if you're going to market to people, you got to market to them based on what they know is a problem to them. And the other thing about selling supplements and healthcare is people seek to avoid pain more than they seek to enjoy pleasure. I'll say it again. People will run from pain, but they're slower to act on getting pleasure or getting what they want. So what's that mean? So your competitors have very quickly figured out, if you want to eliminate your stomach pain, which everybody gets once in a while, if you want to eliminate sinus problems, which everybody has once in a while, particularly since COVID, if you want to, stomach pain, indigestion, joint pain, all this stuff, check this out. Okay, so now that day somebody looks on social media, they got their knees are sore, and they go, I'm going to go check this out. I'm going to click on this to see what this is about. They're not going to say, oh, I'm about to have a stroke. Let me go see what this is all about. You're not marketing it properly. Okay, so yes, if you're going to go onto social media and if you're going to market something, find out what the problem is. What's the pain that they experience right now? Okay, so if he's got brain supplements, maybe those brain supplements make you smarter. Maybe they make you mentally quicker. Would you like to be smarter right now? How to overcome brain fog? Okay, eliminating headaches. What are some of the other benefits of the supplement that relate to the person? And use social media to put that out to the world if that's what your competitors are doing. I'm pretty sure that if they're selling stuff via social media, these are not high ticket supplements. And I know for a fact when I look on social media, YouTube and Facebook, I mean, there are thousands and thousands. I don't know how anybody would make a determination on which one you would use unless it's by referral. So one of the good ways of marketing by social media is through case study. A couple case studies on video, very short and edited properly, will give you some tremendous lift, tremendous interest. Again, they can't be very long, maybe 15, 20 seconds long. I took this supplement, my child took this supplement, and his grades in school went immediately from a C level past B to an A level in less than 30 days. That, something like that. Wow. What's that? Is that a smart pill? Well, let me click on that and find out what that's about. Now, if that's not true, you're not going to say it. Obviously, a case study's got to be something that's real, that's true, and have your customer tell you about it, okay? So if you're going to market on social media, video is the best way. And again, market what they want. People want to get rid of stomach pain. People want to get rid of back pain. People want to get rid of knee pain. People want to get rid of sinus problems. Okay. Yes, people want to get rid of the threat of a stroke, but most people that have strokes, they're stroke candidates, don't even know they're candidates for stroke issues. So because they probably haven't even gone to a doctor to figure that out. Okay. Now, if that's true, however, if it really is stroke preventative medicine, then your target market is not customers at all. It's doctors. It's doctors. It's medical institutions through referral and things like that. Now, there are obviously some restrictions there, but you might want to look at that. Now you become a pharmaceutical salesperson who actually doesn't sell product, but they sell the concept of the product to the doctors, and then they leave information for them. And then when the doctor has a patient, they'll write a prescription for that supplement or for that medicine. Okay. So that's another way of looking at that situation. But again, sell the solution to the problem. Problem is back pain. Here's a pill that eliminates back pain. Simple. Here's brain fog. Here's a pill. Here's a supplement that eliminates brain fog in less than 20 minutes or something like that. Okay. So sell the solution to the pain. This supplement helps prevent stroke. It's okay. You can name that as one of the benefits, and it may be the main benefit, but it's be a little more difficult to solve that. Unless you're saying, attention all stroke victims or stroke candidates. Now that's good because the only people that are going to click on that are people that are stroke candidates, and it's obviously designed specifically for them. Now you might think, well, there's not that many people. You don't need a whole lot of people to get rich doing this, okay? But target it that way or target it that way. One of the two ways, either way will work, or possibly a combination, test both. But again, when people say, my quality is higher and their quality is lower, don't be so sure all the time. Their marketing's better, okay? Their marketing's better, that's for sure. So what can you learn from the marketing? I'm telling you, if you look at these things, they're very powerful. One more thing about supplements and things like that. When you're getting a case study, or when you're asking somebody to do a case study for you or testimony, there's a format that works the best. Now, and a lot of people miss this. So if you do this, you will be a step ahead. A great case study is a before and after. In other words, before I took this supplement, I had brain fog, I was sleepy all the time. I thought I had long-term COVID. By the way, you could say, if you think you're a long-term COVID, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Long-term COVID patient, and you think it's still lingering, we've got a solution for you. This supplement wipes all that out, blah, 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 blah. Or you can say in 50% of the cases, this supplement wipes it out if you've got those statistics. Okay, but going back to the format, case study is before I took the supplement, I had brain fog, I was sleepy all the time, I didn't know what was wrong with me. And someone introduced me to product X, this supplement. And believe it or not, within 4 hours of taking this supplement, my brain fog was gone. Not only was it gone, as long as I took two every day as prescribed, and it's completely organic, no toxic stuff in this thing, I was back to where I was pre-COVID, wide awake, alert, better than ever before. See, so it's before and after. I have my family using it, my kids are using it, they're doing better in school, blah, 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 all that stuff, okay? So case studies, real case studies are actually even better. Remember I said before is problem, solution, benefits, okay? And the benefit of the benefit, and or a case study. Now, if you put them all together, now you're really marketing. Now you're marketing properly, okay? And again, you'll test different things. Some things will work better than others, okay? So hopefully that helps a little bit. Good question. All right, number 5. My product is water purifiers, expensive kind imported from Japan with a price of 70 million Vietnamese dong, okay, per purifier. And in US dollars, I think it's like about $250, $280, something like that. Well, purifiers most common in the market currently are from China that sell for 7 million. Okay, my product is of a much higher quality. Wow, what a surprise. Much higher quality, but still can't be sold. How do I launch my product to the market? Okay, so your product is 10 times the price of the competitor. That's a 10x increase. Okay, so at that point, at $280 a person, it may warrant more of a one-on-one sales pitch or a one-to-many group type of a selling experience. Now, whether you do that, you can do that in a simple webinar, short webinar. You could do it in a master class. You could do all kinds of education on, reducing, reversing the aging process by drinking good quality water. Okay, something like that. And so, and you'll talk about studies have shown that blah, 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 blah increases life expectancy by 3 to 5 years. Okay, just by the water that you drink. Most people don't know that you need to drink 4 liters of water a day. Now that may be true, but it may not be, because most people run around dehydrated most of the time. So you can do a whole thing on the power of water for your health. And then at that program, say, and we offer a water purifier. At the beginning, you just teach. At the end of the webinar, and it doesn't even need to be long. Maybe it's only 15, 20 minutes. So you say, and toward the end, you say, and by the way, we offer a water purifier that does all the things that I was mentioning here. Okay, and if you're interested in it, if you're interested in this water purifier, put your name in the chat box or click this link, and one of us will call you and see if it's right for you. They're not cheap, they're not inexpensive, but here's the testimonial and here's a case study on a case study. So if you're interested, raise your hand or type me in the chat box or put your name in the chat box or click the link, and somebody will call you and discuss it with you. We will not sell you anything that's not for you. We're only going to talk to you about your particular situation. Okay? Now, a couple other things. All the things we're putting together. The ability to know how to sell is critical. You know, in one of our programs, Powerful Sales Presentations, we go into it in much more detail, how to structure an offer. But let me just give you a rundown, because this isn't true in all these cases. And as we get to this last one, after this one, I'm going to show you what kind of summarize all this and show you what's going on. Okay, so this is how this works. This is how this works. Okay, so when you're making an offer, sales offer, step one is identify the problem, the customer's problem. Okay, and then explain in detail, make it graphic. Now, why am I saying that? The reason I'm writing this out, because if you're the one that's going to sell it, or you're going to you have a sales team, they need to know how to sell. And most people think they know how to sell. Most people think they know how to sell, but they really don't. Okay. So the first thing is you're going to identify the problem. What's the problem? Explain it in detail. Yeah, they already know the problem, but they don't remember it. Because they go into buy, sell mode, and they're not thinking about it. They're just thinking price. So you want to get them to stop thinking about that and go back to what's their original problem. Number two, offer a solution, which is pretty simple. That's your product, whatever your product is, okay? Your product, simple. Number three, however, and then list benefits of your product. Okay, so in other words, you say, look, in this case, what are we talking about? We're talking about a water purifier. Okay, so our water purifier works on any household spigot. Okay, so we say, here's the feature. In other words, it works on any household spigot. The benefit of that is you can hook it up any place in your household, and if you move, you can take it with you. You don't have to have costly installation and pay for somebody to come move it and all that kind of stuff. Number two, the other benefit of this is that the quality, talk about quality, the feature or the quality of the water, once it goes through the purification, has been shown to be far superior to any other purifier out there. As a matter of fact, the benefits, when so-and-so organization rated water purification, ours was rated in the top 3 in the world, And and maybe there's a benefit beyond that. And that is, it's some of the best in the world. And it's going to make you the healthiest. Because you got to have water, okay? Et cetera, as many of those as you're going to do. So list the benefits. All right. Now, the other part of it is you always ask lots of questions. Does that sound good to you? Would you like that? Is that something you might be looking for? Okay. And at the end, then you're going to actually offer the product with a price point. I'm not going to get into all of it. This part right here is like about 4 or 5 steps in here. Price point and the call to action, okay? Which is click here, go here, call here. If you're physically sitting with the person, my son was selling bottled water door to door, and they had a credit card machine with them. And when he would get them to a place, say, would you like your first delivery of the water? And they go, yeah. And then he pull it out and he goes, all I need is your credit card. We'll put it right in here. I'll do it right here. It'll be done. Your water will be to you tomorrow. And so that was very good, because if you give them time to think about it, the longer they think about it, the lower the probability is they'll buy. Okay. So that's, again, this is something you train, you can script it out, and you practice and practice and practice so that it's easy. If you're just going to hire somebody off the street to sell for you and say, here's the product, here's the brochure, good luck, here's a video, forget about it. You're not going to sell anything that way. You really have to train them. I've spent 25, 30, maybe 30 years now training salespeople all over the world in all kinds of products, from network marketing products to airline services, travel services, IT services, banking services. And what I know is that it takes practice and training if you're going to do it well. Okay, if you're going to do it well. I guarantee you, some of the people that say other people are doing better than them, it's because the people that are selling it have a higher level of selling experience than you do. So that's not a bad thing, because possibly their training is old training. But newer training and updated training, which you can get through Sarah and through SB, is priceless in this case. All right. So good luck with that. Household kitchen products. But now wants to sell high-priced water purification products and import this item from Japan. Okay, well, that's the deal. So now I'm coming to the last one. I'm going to refer back to this person that wants to do water purifiers as well. So we're going to answer 2 at once. This last one says, my company sells software for production companies. These software are high price, from 2 billion to 5 billion Vietnamese dollars. Okay, this is like several $100,000 US. But a product like this is a way to sell effectively. Yes, there is a way to sell effectively. Now we're talking. I said at the very beginning of this recording is that selling high-ticket items is sometimes easier than selling low-ticket items. I'll explain why in a second. But anytime you can get one-to-one with somebody, your probability of sales is much, much higher than if you're just trying to sell off the internet. Okay, let me show you why. And this is courtesy of a very dear colleague of mine. He's also a sales trainer. His name's Simon Bowen from Australia. And he says this: since COVID, the selling market has changed a bit, okay? What most everybody here has been talking about is they're trying to sell a commodity. And so from a commodity perspective, the only thing the customer is looking at is price. That's all they're concerned about. They just want to know how much it is. And you could try to sell them off of that, but that's a commodity. They're looking for the lowest price and they're going to shop for it. It's all they want to talk about. Now, if you feel you're more quality than this, and you got to let people know that you're more quality and you're not a commodity product, which means you go to the next step, you become what we call a thought leader. In other words, if you're selling water purifiers, then you're a thought leader in health, a thought leader in water, a thought leader in, in this next one, the IT, and thought leader in IT services. You're innovative in what you do. It's not so much about your product, it's about you as a thought leader, okay? And so people will look at you a little bit different because they see you as an expert. You're seen as an expert, okay? And so you're able to charge a little bit more money. But even better than that is another level we call hero. Because right now, going into this recession and based on COVID, people are very hesitant to spend money. They feel that buying something right now is a risk. It's a risk. But here's the scenario change. The scenario change is you got to let them know that the biggest risk is not buying from you. Because there are so many of these guys out there that if you end up doing something like that, that product may not hold up. It may not deliver what you expected. There will be no backup on that thing. And so you're here to tell them that no matter what happens, we're here. I've got your back. So in other words, you are insurance. You can even say it. Particularly in this IT situation, these platforms, we are your insurance. We are your insurance policy. That is, if you do nothing is the biggest risk for your health and supplements. That's the biggest risk. But I'll tell you, with food or whatever, water purification, the biggest risk is not buying. Biggest risk is not spending money on health and not spending money on water. The biggest risk is you spending the money in the wrong place with the wrong firm that then costs you more than just the money. So I'm here to tell you that we are your insurance policy. No matter what happens, we got your back. We've got you backed up. These days, I want you to know there's a lot of crazy people out there, a lot of things going on, but we're here. You don't use the word hero, but you say we're here as your insurance policy. And from that perspective, you can charge a little bit more money, okay? Now, the highest form of sales from this perspective is what my friend Simon calls being a sage, And what a sage offers is wisdom. Wisdom. You've been in the business a long time. You know how things are going. People will pay a premium price if they can be around somebody like this, that knows the industry, that knows the ins and outs, that's been around for a long time, that understands all that. You say, well, Blair, I'm new in the business. That's fine. So you're not a sage yet, but you can certainly put yourself somewhere in this category right here, up in this region. Don't go here. Don't try to compete there. You'll die down there because you'll lower your price and maybe you'll get some more business, but your profitability will go away. If you're going to do that, hire or buy a company that's already profitable doing it and let them do it. And your company takes a little piece of it, or just don't even go into that arena. Okay. So this is the case. Now, how do you sell this? So when we're talking here, this hopefully has enough price built into it to do one-on-one sales with a salesperson, either by phone, by Zoom, or phone, by Zoom, or in person, right? And how do you do this? Well, let's take a look. Identify. Now, you notice I'm using visuals here. That's the other thing. If you're going to spend the time to talk to somebody, don't just talk to them. What we know about how we learn is our auditory senses are the weakest. some people remember pretty well, but they don't remember nearly as much of what you say as what they see, okay? So identify, for example, like with this software that he's trying to sell, what are the 3 areas that we're going to focus on? I wrote them down here, okay? So, because when we get with you, what we'll do, I'm the salesperson, when we get with you, we're going to identify and analyze your business problem. What is the business problem? We're going to look at the system that's operating here, okay? We're going to look at the results that you have. Now, I would elaborate more, okay? But I'm just giving this to you. The business problem, and what's the cost of this problem? How much is this costing you, okay? The other thing that we're going to look at is in order to be a good software vendor here, is we're going to look at a system. We're going to design, redesign, or design the perfect system for you. Design the perfect system, okay, to replace this other bit, to replace that over there. So what we're going to do, we're going to design, okay? We're going to test it. No, we're going to design it. We're going to systematize it, et cetera, et cetera. And finally, the big thing that we're going to do that most of our competitors don't do is we're going to give implementation support. Implementation support means that we will be on site, training, hand holding, doing it for you. In some cases, actually setting you up and doing it for you. Okay? So what have I just done? I created a visual representation of what it is that we're going to do for you. Now, I could have just said the same thing, but the fact that it's in front of somebody, they're looking at it, they can see it, they got it. So again, and then I'll maybe review it. I'll say, look, we're looking at the business problem first. Then what are we going to do? We're going to design a perfect system for you. We're going to design it. We're going to design an IT solution. But most importantly, we want to make sure that it works. So we're going to be there on site to do some hand holding on site with you to make sure that you get the results that you're looking for. Okay? How many of you would like this? Or Mr. Prospect, is this something that you would like? Okay? So in your presentation, then, you need to get visual with it. Because by getting visual, then the customer can latch on to it. Other than that, so what I do, I gave this scenario to you. Now you can create your own. You can say, look, for this IT person, there's a lot of people that, here, let me do one for him. Okay, so if I'm going to talk to customers, because I'm charging billions of dong to do this, I might take a look and say, look, in the world of IT users, there are people who are non-tech and they're non-competitive. They're just not even in the market, because you cannot be in production these days without a good technology solution. The people that do tech, there are some people that struggle. They struggle. Because they try to go cheap. They do it themselves, or they get a couple of contractors, but they don't have a full-on solution. Now, people that get a little bit beyond that and really decide that they want better solutions, are willing to pay the money, then they achieve a level that we call competence. These are people that you can trust because they can get the job done and get it done. And they get it done efficiently and they get it done well, okay? They're competent. They're going to make mistakes, but they're competent. But for some people that really want to be the best in their business, they become what I call leaders in their industry. Industry leaders. Why? Because their IT and their production and their marketing and their customers all succeed together. So my question to you is, where are you? Where are you? I'd ask the prospect, where are you here? They may say, well, you know, really, I'm ashamed to tell you, but I'm really right here. Okay, good. So would you like to get to here, or at least to here? Good. See, now what am I doing? We're sharing a visual aid here. And again, these are, when I'm selling high ticket, this is the way I sell it. This is the way Simon and I both teach people to do this. Give them some, whatever you're talking about, draw it out. Triangles and circles and spheres, whatever you want to do, because that will register in the mind, in both the right and the left hemispheres of the prospect's mind. And at that price point, it's worth doing. It's worth doing it. Make sense? Okay. So hopefully what you've got is a couple of things from this whole thing. This person is a director of a company specializing in production of software on demand for manufacturing enterprises. Currently on the market, there are many software products for commercial enterprises and few software for production companies. So the competition is not high, but the product price is very high, from 10 to 20 times higher than other production software. It's a man after my own heart. That's what you want to do. He's operating above thought leader. He's operating at this top area of this triangle here. Let me put it back up here. He's operating up here, the top of this triangle. He's not only a thought leader, he's a hero and a sage. He's priced himself there. And so that means that anybody that's interested, they're going to sit down one-on-one and talk to the people there, maybe in front of a board of directors, and have a conversation with them about what their solutions are. Again, going back to the problems, the solutions, the benefits, okay? Now, this transition, these 4 steps may take, in a company like his, may take several months to go through all of this, okay? It may take a month alone just to identify the problem. Okay, it may take maybe several weeks to identify a product, and maybe not even have the product yet, but here are the features and benefits of what it's going to look like. And part of this is going to be like what we talked about in the very beginning, that this is a multi-stage sale. So the first one is just an introduction to sell the idea. The second one is a rough overview of what they might design for them. And the third one is we actually sit down and get it done. So, and again, at the end of this whole thing, if a person is willing to sign the contract, you may waive your fees on the first 2 sections and just put the whole thing together at one time and give them an offer and give them a better deal, because everybody wants a better deal. Okay. So again, I've gone through this very quickly. We could spend months on either one of these things, on any of these things, but these are great questions. In summary, easier to sell a high ticket item. Why? Because you have more time to sell it. Why? Because you have more time to explain it. Why? Because the person at the other end, cost is not as much of an issue. The issue is the solution. So that's a much better place to operate from. I have friends that have taken that approach since COVID, making more money, way more money than pre-COVID, even right through COVID, because they took on this strategy of selling high ticket items. Okay. And if you've been around in the business a long time, you know how to do. You should know what the benefits of your stuff are. That's number 1. Number 2, quality. My quality is higher. Theirs is lower. They're selling better. Why? Okay, a couple of reasons. You may not be marketing it right, and you're not selling it right. Both of which take training. And remember, when you're trying to market anything, you're trying to give people a relief to a pain. I've got back pain. Here's the solution to your back pain now. Okay. Not I'm worried about having a stroke. Well, here's a solution to that right now. Yeah, but most people, people don't even know they're going to have a stroke. That's the danger of a stroke, is it hits out of the blue sometimes. Okay. So again, we go back and review the answers to these several times if you want to. If you have other further questions and want to dive a little bit deeper, I'm happy to do that, okay? But again, Sarah, thank you for the questions. Ms. Hua, thank you for setting all this up. And Ms. Hua is going to give you some financial solutions as well. How you finance this? You know, what are the financial cash flow issues to keep in mind when attempting to get your product out and serve your customers, okay? So be amazing, be awesome, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.